Hi, I am Jack the Ripper. Tonight is a foggy night, barely even a cricket stirs. I am meeting a young girl for a drink. We sit and talk over a meal of spaghetti. As we finish, I walk her home. I say, my lass, unfortunately, you have to die. The chill in the air wraps around us. As I lead her down the darkened street, the echoes of our footsteps swallowed by the fog. She looks at me, a faint hint of unease creeping into her smile, but she can't quite put her finger on why. I grab her and slam her against the wall. "'Tis this night be beautiful enough for your soul to leave your body, my lady." As I reveal a knife to her, "What shall you do, mum, run fight, or die a fleeting, fearful death?" Her eyes are wide in horror. She gasps, her hands trembling as she contemplates her next move, the streetlight flickering above us like a heartbeat. The knife glints in the dim light, emphasizing the danger and urgency of the situation, and I can see her terrified reflection on its blade. "The girl is panicked. Why is thy sir angry with me?" I put a finger to her lips. "My lady, all beautiful flowers need planted in the earth. Your death will grow many beautiful flowers to replace you," as I plunge my knife in her chest. I hear a gasp of air as she struggles to breathe, slowly. Falling backwards against the wall, she makes a gargling and choking noise, and slowly her head tilts sideways as the color leaves her eyes. I laugh. "My sweet girl, rest. Now the earth needs you." I walk away from the girl's cold, lifeless body and down the street. And I proceed back to my house. As I do, I hear a guy shout for help, "OMG help. There's a hurt girl here, police help now." As I turn, I slowly walk towards the crowd gathering, so not to be suspicious. Everyone panicking in the crowd, I proclaim, "Dear me, 'tis sad. Such a beauty. What horrible person dons the intent to hurt such a young girl?" As the crime scene clears up, I finally arrive at home, a feeling accomplishment. But I know one girl isn't enough. I go to work. It's a smoldering day. As I wipe sweat off my brow, I see a beautiful lady. I say, "Madam, I couldn't help but notice your beauty from afar. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jack. What is the lady's name?" I ask. She responds, "Daisy." "My good sir," I say, "we'll miss Daisy. Would the lady be interested in going dancing at the Wild Moon pub this evening?" She says, "I would be honored." I say, "Meet me here, and I will pick you up, my good lady." "Would the lady honor me with her presence at 1800 hours?" She says, "I would be delighted," as she hops onto her horse and rides off. I think to myself, such a beautiful girl shall make great food for the worms in the ground. These women trust bad guys so easy, the young fools. As the night envelops the village, I wander through memories of the past, wondering how easily she had trusted me. I knew this town held secrets, and I couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom that shadowed her every step. As I show up to her on my horse and buggy, as I hop down and open the door, she says, "Tie, good sir." She says. I steps inside, we go to the pub, and I let her out, and we go inside, where we drink and dance and have a merry time. As I hold her, I go in for a kiss, which she kisses me back, and the air is sweet from her lilac perfume mixed with my cologne, and we felt like we were the only people on earth. I tell Daisy, would the lady like to stay the night with the gentleman? She winks at me, only if the sir buys me a few more drinks, as she playfully shoves me. We sit and drink and laugh and head back to my house, where I undress and she undresses. She says, "Could the gentleman be gentle with me? I'm a virgin." I thrust into her hula, purity leaks like wine, and she grips the covers as two lovers entangle. The night was passionate, our shadows danced in the moonlight. Every action weaved in the shadows, sweat covered the blankets, moans and screams escaped the house, and the stillness of the night is broken. When we are finished, I grabbed us a couple of cups of wine and say to her, "Your purity was sweet. It was such an honor." My beautiful dove has slowly rubbed her cheek. She says, "Can the gentleman take me home?" I grab my clothes and we head outside. As Jack and Daisy left the house, Jack said, "Do you want to sit with me by the river?" Daisy replied, "Sure, I would like that, Mr. Jack." As they were sitting, Jack remarked, "There is one thing you don't know about me." And with that, he grabbed Daisy, picked her off the ground and took her to the river. With a wicked smile, he threw her into the water and let out a laugh before jumping in after her. Daisy splashed in the water, her laughter mingling with the sound of the river as Jack dove in beside her, both surrounded by lively ripples. The sun filtered through the leaves of the trees lining the edge of the riverbank, capturing the joyous chaos happening in the water. That evening, as Jack went back to his house, now that Daisy's gone, the next flower shall line the fields tonight. Jack gets his coat and top hat and heads back out and sees a girl who slapped a man saying he was cheating on her. Jack says, "My fair damsel, what is the problem?" The man says, "This psycho thinks I'm cheating on her." Jack says, "Ma'am, are you sure he's cheating?" She retorts, "Yes, I found women's underwear, and they aren't mine." "Madam, may I take you away from this heathen?" As he says, "Take her." As they are riding in Jack's horse carriage, Jack stops and says, "Would thou set with me and look at the stars?" The lady says, "I barely know you, sir." Jack says, "Ma'am, please indulge me for just a glance. Even I did just save you." She says, "Fine if I must." As they stare at the stars, Jack says, "Does the lady believe in an afterlife?" She says, "I don't know what to believe." He says, "Well, tell me," as he stabs her in the back. As I stand over her, she says, "Why, sir, why?" "Ah!" Ma'am looks for violence in argument. "I will allow you to be silent for once. Please rest." As I stab her, her body goes cold. Her eyes stop blinking. She goes limp and quiet. Ma'am spoke many words, now doesn't speak any. Silence, the truest form of peace. The stillness grows heavier, enveloping the room like a thick fog. Shadows dance along the walls, as if mourning the loss of a voice that once filled the air with words. Every echo of her plea hangs in the atmosphere, a haunting reminder of what was just moments before. As Jack reaches his house, he ties up his horse and goes into his house. Suddenly, a woman rushes him and jumps on him, knocking him into the wall. "It's Daisy, welcome home," she proclaims, kissing him and holding him in her arms. "Hello, my sweet." He returns her kiss. "I've missed you, my sweetheart," Jack says with a smile on his face. "Since our fun in the river, I knew I loved you." She says, "I have never been so happy with anyone other than you, Sir Jack, nor have I, my sweet Daisy." As Jack sticks to the shadows, he sees a woman hit her son, then sends her son inside. From the shadows, Jack grabs her throat, kisses her forehead. "Sleep, my darling, you may be empty in life, but God may fill you with passion," as he cuts her throat. She tries to speak, but blood only comes out as she slowly falls, holding her cut, and goes limp and lifeless. "Sweet dreams, rest in eternal peace." As he says this, he hears the words, "Freeze right now." Jack hears the words, "Freeze right now, you piece of scum." A cop emerges. "I watched you steal this girl's life. You'll hang for this." As the cop says this, Jack runs. He runs down alleys, down roads. He stands against his house. Wow, that was too close, as Jack feels a musket touch his skull. "You're coming with me." Then from nowhere, Jack hears a musket fire. Jack thinks, "Am I dead?" As he thinks this, he sees blood all over him, and the cop's dead. "Welcome home, honey," Jack hears. As Jack turns around, the bad boy sits. "Play dead, stay dead." My God, Jack, you men make such a ruckus. What are you looking at? Get the cop's body and bury it. Your dinner's cold, and I'll be upset if you don't eat it. Jack just nods in disbelief and with excitement at the same time. Jack's mind races as he grapples with the absurdity of the situation, torn between the gravity of what he must do and the playful taunts of the bad boy. "Why do you always have to make this so complicated?" Jack mutters under his breath, feeling the weight of the night settling in around him. Jack buries the body in the backyard, and as he walks in, Daisy says, "Bath. Now, Jack, you're soaked in blood and you're not dirtying my clean house jerk." Daisy then taunts him, asking, "How does it feel killing me, Jack the Ripper?" while rubbing the musket along her tongue. Jack stands frozen, shocked that Daisy knows who he truly is. Jack's expression shifts from fear to defiance as he confronts Daisy in the dimly lit hallway, the tension thick in the air. Daisy leans casually against the wall, a smirk on her face, the musket gleaming in the low light as she examines Jack's startled reaction. As Jack heads to take a bath, his thoughts are racing. She knows who I am, what I've done. What to do? Doth thou kill my lover, or do I risk everything for love? 'Tis a choice I will have to make. As I slowly head into the kitchen, Daisy in an apron smiles to me. Jack takes a moment, allowing the warmth of her smile to penetrate his anxiety, but the weight of his choices hangs heavily in the air. Daisy, busy with dinner, hums a tune, unaware of the storm brewing in Jack's mind. As Jack walks into the kitchen, he wraps his hands around Daisy's neck. Slowly, he pulls her in for a kiss. Why is it I kill relentlessly, yet I can't shed a drop of your blood, Miss Daisy? Why does thy love you so? She smiles. Because we are meant to be, my love. Jack's intense gaze pierces through the dim light as he searches Daisy's eyes for answers. Daisy's hand gently caresses Jack's cheek, offering reassurance and affection in the charged atmosphere of the kitchen. As Jack rounded the corner, he saw an old man pulling the clothes off a young girl. Jack grabs a brick and knocks the old man unconscious. "The devil is here for you, old man," Jack says, a smile across his face. The young girl, now free, stands in shock as Jack steps forward, his face a mix of adrenaline and concern. A close-up shows Jack's face, revealing a complex mixture of triumph and anger as the girl looks up at him, her eyes wide with a mix of gratitude and confusion. As Jack stared at the old man's body, the old man woke up still alive. Jack smiled. "'Tis a sad day for thou to meet me." "Your soul is mine, monster," Jack said with laughter and a psychotic laugh. "I have never felt such euphoria for a kill. Give me your soul, I will send you to hell, you filthy beast." The tension in the air thickened as Jack's manic grin widened with each word. He stepped closer, the faint light illuminating his crazed eyes, filled with a mix of joy and madness. The old man trembled in fear, clutching his chest as he realized the gravity of Jack's words, his frail body appearing small against the oppressive darkness surrounding them. Jack slammed the brick down on the old man's thumb, and with each hit, laughter echoed as he reveled in the torment. "Welcome to hell, demons," he thought, as he spat on the old man's corpse, declaring that even if he faced eternal damnation, he would savor his wickedness, while the old man would suffer endlessly at the hands of demons. With the old man's lifeless figure at his feet, Jack felt invincible, savoring the thrill of his cruelty as he looked into the swirling storm, embodying the primal energy of his actions. From the shadows, a menacing demon observed, intrigued by Jack's volatile spirit, and as flames danced around them, the air crackled with an unsettling excitement. As Jack turned around, two cops rushed him. "You killed someone!" As they said this, the young girl came from behind them. "The old man was sexually assaulting me. He killed the monster to save me." "The officers said bloody hell, mate, so this young chap saved you." "Well, sir, normally we would arrest you, but I think you did our job quite well tonight. Leave before we notice you, sir." As Jack turns around, the young girl nods and whispers, "Thank you to Jack." As Jack arrives home, Daisy runs out and says, "What has my love done on this foggy night?" Jack replies, "I have removed a piece of filth even the crows wouldn't pick at from existence." Daisy, with tears welling up in her eyes, exclaims, "I'm pregnant, Jack, my love." Jack stands frozen, absorbing the weight of her revelation, his heart racing as he thinks about the future. Daisy takes a hesitant step forward, hoping for a reaction, her voice breaking slightly as she whispers, "What will we do now, Jack?" Jack dropped to his knees, his heart-pumping blood rushed to his brain. As he heard Daisy say, "She's pregnant," Jack crawled on his knees to Daisy. "My love, my dark angel created a life for me to father." Tears flowed down his cheeks as he exclaimed, "Are we having a baby? Oh my God, you're pregnant! This is a miracle for the many lives I have taken. I have created a life with my love." Jack expressed sheer enjoyment. In that magical moment, Jack's hands grasped Daisy's, sharing an intimate connection filled with joy and wonder, realizing the magnitude of the news that would change their lives forever. The beautiful sunset in the background cast a golden glow over them, symbolizing hope and new beginnings as they embraced each other tightly. Later that evening, Jack and Daisy sat on a blanket under the stars, a tranquil look on their faces as they discussed their dreams for the future, surrounded by soft twinkling lights. A small baby onesie laid out on the blanket between them, signifying their love and the new life they were preparing for. As the months pass, Daisy and Jack's love continues to grow with each sunrise, and each sunset seems to light the fire in their hearts with an inextinguishable flame burning inside them. Jack spots a vendor on his way from removing a woman from her existence. "My good sir," Jack says to the vendor, "may I partake in a dozen of the sir's roses?" The vendor replies, "That will be £3. Jack hands him the money and heads home. As he arrives, Daisy, now visibly pregnant, runs to Jack, but a loud explosion roars out as blood hits Daisy. Jack crumples to the ground, and a police officer is looking down at Jack and shoots Jack a second time. Daisy's heart races as she gazes down at Jack, feeling the weight of despair wash over her. The chaos around her mirrors the turmoil within as sirens wail in the distance and confusion erupts in the once peaceful street. The officer kneels beside Jack, his gun still raised, grappling with the gravity of his actions, while people scream and scatter in fear. As the officer aims to fire again, he falls beside Jack's body, a knife dug into his shoulder. Daisy stabbed the officer, shouting, "I hate you," while lodging the knife into his other shoulder, saying, "This is my love. You will die. I'm going to kill you." She digs the knife into the officer's eyes and stabs him again and again for what seems like hours. As she stops, she sees Jack, bloodied from being shot twice. "Daisy, my love, if I leave the world today, I will be the whisper in the wind you hear. I will be in every breath you partake. You have made a killer feel love for the first time. I thank you, my love," he whispers as his eyes close and his head turns limply to the side. In that moment, Daisy's fury fades into crushing grief as she kneels beside Jack, her tears mingling with the blood on her hands. The street is eerily silent, except for her sobs echoing through the darkness, amplifying the sorrow of a love lost in violence. She whispers to him, "I should have protected you," feeling the weight of her actions weigh heavily on her heart as she cradles Jack's head in her lap. The street, once a battleground, now feels like a graveyard for their dreams and love, shadowed by the consequences of their choices.